Hi YouTube, thank you so much for joining me. Hi Patreon. Talking to you about April 2025 and what do we have going on. So of course in March there were 2 eclipses and that could have been better, but it is what it is. And now we have a question and you can't go wrong. You just have to basically be that now and build it and grow it. So the whole body of people that I'm also working with at the moment, it's looking like things are not turning out that great because one had a problem with who they were sometimes or what it was that they were going through, and they didn't quite connect the dots, and now who they are kind of doesn't feel like it matters or doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. So the program has changed for many people also, and I'm seeing that there's quite a lot of awful feelings and question marks as to what for did we do this, or why did my life turn this way, or what for did I choose this type of timeline. So we did have a look, a very close-up look at timelines and what is not, as we did go through the equinox. We did go through the stellium in the sky, including Saturn, including the North Node. So we are now wondering what for. Like some people are like, what for? And the thing is, it's too kind of late to wonder. It's a really terrible time to backtrack. It's a horrible time to step into the waters of the new and then kind of wiggle your feet out and go, oh, no, I'm not going in. I don't have the courage yet, or I don't think this is my thing. The better idea is to just, okay, cool, witness life as it is, be simpler with your choice making and just walk forward. The more forward you go, the better it is. But I understand why some people would be very apprehensive because it is a snake year and there is a lot hidden there, hidden secrets and doubts and feelings and their emotions and very beguiling, even unnecessary emotional states, and sometimes people like, no, I'm too wounded, like I'm trapped in one space, I can't do anything about this or that. So basically you have to learn, you got to go forward. So Aries is paving the path pretty quickly and lightly. It should never have been a bad story. It should never have been a separatist, angry, frightened or depressing timeline. It should not ever have been hard or painful. It may though have to be if you're constantly asking, is this real, is this not real, should I be doing this, should I be doing that? So doubtfulness and emotionality is something that we don't really have a lot of time for, so you just have to like give it your all. So you are on stage, you set up everything, you've made your bed in a way, or you've been part of a cause and effect that has placed you here, and Aries just gives you the tools, the proportions, the propositions, and off you go onto the next grid. So the idea is basically not to dawdle, not to stagnate, not to feel fear and emotions, not to double take and question your life. You just have to walk through the doors, and there are several doors. Some of them are empty and they're just kind of like thoughts or feelings, and certain ones are definites and they can even lead you to a better, greater and more appropriate path. It's just whether or not you want to face facts, and facts are really, really healthy to face during Aries. Aries is one of the healthier signs, and it is about the body and bodily things and also bodily facts and things going forward and going on, and you just have to go forward. You just have to do it, and there's not really a point of messing about. It's a terrible time to seek advice. It is a terrible time to seek a helper because you may be stuck with it, or stuck in them or with them, or they will be stuck with you, maybe even forever. So there's no question about it in terms of also people wanting you to know what they think about where you're going, and also people over explaining or wanting everybody to see what they're doing. Like it's just all kind of a trap for each other. So make it very quick that you're doing what you're doing, and maybe share it with a family member or friend, but just keep going and make sure that you are not noisy about it. Like some people really have to question anything and everything they do, and basically it is just hard and it's harmful for the health. And what I probably would also say is that it's just daunting, it's emotional, it's long-winded, it's windy, it's whiny, and definitely it's nice to see those traits in oneself. Do I feel like I'm whining? Am I backtracking? Am I constantly asking people to speak on my behalf? Am I asking for like a business sense from someone who doesn't necessarily have it? Am I asking for expertise or time from the wrong person? Am I doing the wrong thing here? Am I trying too hard? Am I like also sometimes on the other scale? a dangerous person in the group? Am I the one lying? Am I the one pushing people or egging them on to do things that I don't actually want to do myself and such? So basically you're the author of your own life and your own existence. These roads are better traveled alone. It's better to poke about by yourself. Do as much as you can, or do as much as you're willing to do on your own. Try to make sure that you're not making other people appropriate for you in terms of scapegoats in your life. Make sure that nobody else is paying for it, that if you're doing it on your own, by yourself. You can handle it yourself, that you're not roping other people into protecting you afterwards as well. So that means to me that it is just about being an adequate adult and knowing that you can't sometimes also keep on showing up for other people and standing up for them and being righteous on their behalf. So it's just about knowing you and leaving the world of having to make sure that everybody's all right. And sometimes that is going to be very strong. So Neptune is going into Aries. It is yours. It is your choice, your road, and your own vulnerability or your epicness that is going to get you there. So some of the time, if you are a nurse or you're a writer or you're a critic or you're emotional, you're constantly scheming things for other people. You have lots of other bodies of people around you, and this is here because of this, and this is there because of that. Relationship of this person to another, or relationship of that thing to another. And yeah, basically the story's closed. We're done. We've gone through several windows and doors. We've gone through the eclipse season. It should just be over, and you just have to go. So that means to me, stop talking, do the thing. You feel like walking around, just go. Like you want to travel, just go, just go, just go. And sometimes the body or the inner system knows what it has to do and go and make. You don't need to ask anybody else if they think it's right, because it doesn't matter, because this is you, your body, and your programs. And basically what we have to end is this wisdom seeking and this feeling and these philosophies that are just tearing people apart, and asking if mom or dad are going to pay for you, or asking if someone else is going to step in and protect you. It's just never going to be anything. It's just a winding road around rocks, going back to square one. So that's the thing, stagnancy and also despair, and also evolution of other people being somehow more important than yours. And doing things with others, or maybe even a bunch of people that don't actually really feel to do that which you want to do. Like for example, I really, really want to go, but like my partner can't afford to go. Or like I really care about this, but nobody else cares about it. So you just have to stop whining and leave. So it's kind of like, like all of that eventually builds you a better story elsewhere anyway. So life is going to eventually put you on a different trajectory. So most of it is fine. I'm feeling that some people are looking at others who seem to have gotten it together, and they are waiting for them to come up with a plan. So of course there's going to be ruleship and guidance coming from a select few people that somehow have bounced back or bounced into leadership roles because time has tested them and time has shown that they have got something going on, and they actually got something legitimately together and true about them. But not always, not often. Actually, sometimes it's just the person that screams the loudest and the person that seems more epic, like the person with the shoulder pads and, I don't know, the highest boots may be the one riding high. So that's the thing, like how to talk about them, how to treat them. And get out of it. Get out of leadership. Leadership is also in itself unnecessary. It is a glorified socialist kind of like a public role. But did you ever really get anything from it except several headaches and more headaches afterwards? Do you really want to be a leader or guide of a group? There's also a question, and like, do you really want to do that? Like right now, like, is there something about you that is aching and burning to lead? And if it is, it means you're not meant to be a leader, because sometimes leaders are best when they're sort of innocently leading, not knowing that they are. But like, how harmful is it? How harmful can it be to just live your own separate existence? And this is where a lot of people, I understand, are opposing me. Because they're just basically saying, no, we are in this together, we're a collective, we have to do everything half and half, or we have to go like, split 50-50, or, do things like in a shared way. And it's very uneconomical for me. So to me, to my heart, to my soul, it doesn't feel like you have to necessarily involve in several projects because it feels good to lead kind of, or follow kind of, or kind of give and take. This compromise is not going to do anything for you if you want to be yourself. If you want to be yourself, your own healthy being, and go by your own heartbeat and your own laws and systems that you would yourself, eventually recognize you need to go alone, and you need to be steady. So that's the thing. Steadiness, sturdiness, knowing that we come into this world by ourselves in a way. It's an epic lie as well, but you can see it. And we leave alone. It's kind of so, but it's not so. Of course, nothing happens this way, but you have your own body. You don't need to infiltrate others, and you don't necessarily need others to infiltrate you. But yeah, of course, mother and child are kind of one for the first few days at least. So yeah, that's also correct. So it's your choice. Do you want to feed another? Do you want to be fed? So this is the question. And for sure, for all algorithms, the individual, the one, the only, the embodied, the physical, the here and now, the authentic, the genuine is that which actually makes things go forward and eventually commits later programs to the same rhythm. So if you have the one algorithm coming from your soul and from your actual body, it's going to be much better than having several coming from whatever's there and whatever everybody else is thinking and however everybody else is doing it. So definitely, anything and everything is possible. There are many laws, and there are also many law-breaking tools during this time. There are ways of leaving a system and walking into a system uninvited. There is a lot of energetic hacking out there. There's people that can do whatever they want, basically. So, in terms of law, also people would say, like, that sounds dangerous. That sounds lean and mean, and like it would be probably quite bossy and take something from us. I'm not saying necessarily that it would or wouldn't. I'm just saying that there is a question and an answer, and it's very clear. And sometimes it is very obvious, and you just have to go through it. It's not about pussyfooting. It's a terrible time for esoterics. It's a horrible time to sit there with your breath held, thinking what's going to happen. It's a horrible time to see a shrink or a tarot reader, but it's an excellent day to just do what you feel like. If you have the time, if you have the capacity, if you have a clear system, also if you are clean of ego, because sometimes you won't actually be able to believe what your body comes up with. It's just a kind of like a slightly dangerous world out there, and I get that sometimes people are children in this world and they really don't know, and they don't show much respect or care to those that are experimenting until they get that gold mine, and then everybody else wants a whiff of it. But that's the thing. So you see now, it's a weird truth to be a truly experimental human during this time, to be very free and obvious and open and forward. It's actually a very giant leap for some people to come out of the closet or to just be who they are. And for certain other people, it is very hard to follow. And therefore, sometimes the young ones and the slightly abrupt ones, or people that have been designing life a certain way and now they are seeking novelty or like a new question, they want new study, they want new study of life, they want a new body maybe, or they want a new way of living it. Sometimes they're seen as kind of ugly or predatorial. Sometimes people are scared of the true, not necessarily heretic, I wouldn't say heretic, they are afraid of a true questioner. They are fearful of the innocence and the human being that says, well, what are we doing now? They're afraid of it because everything is going in pattern. And of course, to seek humility from other people, to seek some kind of codependence is hard. To be loving or to be loved, if you have a sudden awakening and you have this brute force return to your body and maybe you can't handle it, there is so much vibration and there is so much opening, there's so much energy, it's very easy to get slapped down by anybody else. Or oh, shut up, don't go there, be quiet, So of course there is the upper hand. Sometimes you got the upper hand adults, that are, still in their places, and they don't want any young'uns out there informing others. They don't want anything new out there. They don't want that beguiling, emotional, intriguing energy to come through, which is exactly what we're all about during this time. This is the health of the body, and this is the obvious up. So the obvious up is you have a lot of energy, you're burning bright, suddenly you have clearer vision, clearer skin, stronger bones, stronger hair. You want to get out of there, you want to get real, you want to keep going. So something is pushing you, urging you to get on the road and just jump up, and see what's up. If you have this, don't be afraid, because this is actually an element of decay leaving your body. Well, that's where you really wanted to be all along. So maybe this is about a mistake weeding itself out of your system. Maybe there's several timelines leaving, and only the most possible or the most flamboyant or the juiciest energies staying for the trip. And that's when we actually have a lot of information that goes against us, like people saying no. And then, of course, we got oh, God says this, or your parents would be so disappointed, or this is that, and look at that, and look at this. So definitely there's going to be a lot of naysayers. Most people have an opinion during this time, and everybody else's opinion is on their level. So should I say guard yourself from other people's interest? I mean, some of it is like that. If you really want to get your projects done, don't tell anybody about them. Don't tell anybody about them. And make them whole, make them wholesome. Do what you want, do what you will with those projects, make them as you will, and learn from the mistakes, or learn from the burdens. And sometimes there are those, but sometimes they won't be. What's not to say you're gonna win? And how is usually Aries time is very instantaneous. It usually will give you something, at least a glimmer of hope or some kind of hint or serendipity, just to say, yeah, you're gonna win, and that's the thing, or you not. But it actually never mattered, because everybody wants to study life their own way, and who's to tell them how? So it's just basically a layoff. It's nice not to give advice. It's nice not to show up to a job if you're constantly willing other people to do what you will them to do. It's also nice not to will you to try to be inside a body of people that wants you to do that which they want you to do. So it's just about kind of willpower at its freshest, at its finest, and doing that which you kind of need. And sometimes it's extroverted, sometimes it flops on the side, sometimes it flops in its face, sometimes it's not needed. Sometimes, for example, you write a book and people are ha ha ha, it's gorgeous, but we don't like that, and that's absolutely okay. And maybe in a couple of years it will all come back to square one, and your altruism or even potential for extroversion is going to be replaced by old-time thinking patterns and feelings that you should have, could have, would have had. So the question is regret. I mean, will you have regret if you go out and do the things that you actually physically want to do? The idea here is not to abstain from those powerful, simple currents that are happening today, and just not to go also there if you don't really have to, So this is just about holding yourself up. It's like powering a ship, it's like knowing how a ship works, and how to work with the wind and the territory. And it's just nice. You just have to go through your own healing, and you have to go through your own resurfacing of different feelings and truths and trusts, and just go through your own spectrum of your physical body or your soul navigating this. And the soul and the body completely one during this time. Aries really shows us who we are with the physical. So yeah, definitely physical and spirit completely combine, as we see a total wholeness and a completion. And you just kind of do it from the center point, as easy as can be, as just whether or not you have the guts, whether or not you have the brawn, whether or not you have the consciousness and the esteem to do this thing. And then that's it. And eventually, yeah, it's done. The jig is done. We go into Taurus. By the end of the month, we don't really have anything else. We just kind of run out of steam. What I'm also kind of seeing is people want Taurus to come too quickly. So what I mean is they miss it. They're like, oh, I miss mommy. I miss eating. I miss sleeping. I want to just be happy. I want to just sit down and listen. I want to feel good. So passivity happens earlier than Taurus happens, because people don't have the stomach for it. They don't have the stomach to go out, pack your bag and see the day. They don't have the consciousness. They don't have the joining of dots. They don't have the health, or they have too many limits between themselves and that next epoch now. And also basically they are not necessarily too slow. They are looking for enlightenment and what they can have. So if you're one of those people that is constantly online, just enjoying other people's work, if you like buying stuff, if you like walking around the same neighborhoods, also if you like money, if suddenly money is very important, if food is very important, and also especially if you like weird stuff, like say pastrami, salami, cured meats, weird kind of curries and sort of things that are very tangy and tasty and have a lot of flavor, chances are you don't feel the joy, and you're looking for joy in what you can have. So enjoy it as well. But if you're looking for color in another person, if you're looking for entertainment from someone else, and if you are looking at ways of fulfillment very quickly in Aries, that can come to you. So for example, you order a package and it comes to your door. You order something and it just appears on the screen, and everything is fine. You just like order it and it shows up, and you don't have to actually put anything into it. There's no effort. It's like you call an escort, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to make an impression, you just call someone up. That means that something is very ununique about you, and you have partially a bit of soul stagnation, and some people even have soul death. And I don't want to freak you out, but like there is like a question of like, why not just, like I push a button, I get it on tap, it comes to my door, I don't have to do anything. So if you are one of those willful people and you're using your will and your courage to just basically push a button and get what you want at your disposal, that means to me that you don't have anything inside. And that means to me that that's fine. And you can do as you like. But that is usually a sign of something unwell. So unless you really have to order something and it will come to your door, why then? Like why? So basically the better choice here is to go through several initiations. Try to feel. If you are lucky, you can go to a river, you can go to the mountains, you can try to walk your body out of there. So physical walking, physical work, sometimes. And fun, not in favor, meaning that you're not working for anybody. It's just like you're chopping wood because it feels good to chop wood, or you are, scaffolding for your own self. You're scaffolding your own house, So that's the thing. It's like doing things that are right for you to do. It's not just about what is and what isn't right. It's just the physical fun of the joy of living. Okay, and that's the main energy, and this is really bone-headed and very robust, but that's basically the whole thing. That's the whole option. Either you are physical and you are a fighter and you're curious and you're enjoying and you are making it happen and you are happy with your actual physical experience, or you can't be there. And for the people that can't be there, maybe you need to find the joy in life and also find that which obstructs you. I've been working on this since Capricorn. So I'm already out of words because I've been preparing everybody for like purging and letting go and allowing and also understanding one's traumas. There is nothing there. So by the end of the month, because I've run out of words, there's too many words, you guys. By the end of the month, we have a very nice philosophical time in Taurus, which is where, if you can imagine, the day is done and you get to sit and wait for the outcome. So that's when, for example, you've launched a brand in Aries, and in Taurus, you get a payout or you don't. For instance, you have done something great. You've initiated yourself, and either like say you are nursing your injuries in Taurus, or you have a completely new wake-up call or a feeling. So you know whether or not your instincts and your passions and your simple physical human brawn have or have not amounted to much. And then by the end of the month, basically, you'll also see, and you can tell them, you can tell anybody what for you have done, what you've done, and where, like when or how, where is the result, or like why you did it and what you would probably now rather do, or maybe try to apprehend other people from doing. So for example, you have made an account online and it turns out that that brand is fake, and now you don't really have any foot to stand on, and you're like, okay, look, this person here is a fraud, or please make sure you don't go down this route, because that's what I did. So basically, it's just important to enjoy, and it is definitely about very vivacious and open-hearted behavior, but in a way, like there's also an emptiness there. And I'm not saying emptiness in a bad, scary, shadowy way. It's like you are sitting there and you already know it in your body. You don't have to go through the process, through the philosophies inside your brain. Philosophies are kind of like shards of the past that you can't join, and you have to watch them over to try and weed something out, like to try to make sense of it. So the best choice I have, like, by the way, this is not for everybody because not everybody's there, just to go, like bolt, you know, like, I'm gonna do this, go do it. This is the time. I gotta call my friend, or let's go, you know. That's not a bad idea. But this is also depending. If you don't have enough energy, if you don't have enough strategy normally in your life, you may put your foot in it, meaning like if you are not known for something, if you're not good at something, like it's gonna be hard. So that's the thing. If you have got your feelings in the right place, and if you have organized everything correctly in the previous months, and if you've gotten to know yourself as a being, as a body, as a human, you don't have to worry about getting it wrong. You don't have to worry about second guessing all this stuff. It should be just natural and authentic. And then eventually you'll get to know what it was for. So by Gemini, there's going to be a very big unraveling and a reveal. But before then, we have several weeks of not knowing how, why, when, of what for, but it's kind of happening. And that's the power and the pleasure of being alive and being a human being. So thank you very much. Enjoy. And if you like, have a look at my Patreon. I have lots of things there, and I will help people get through if they've lost their soul somewhere along the lines, along the way, and if they've forgotten which way to go. So I'll be there shining on Patreon, shining bright like a lighthouse, shining bright like a diamond. Okay, anyway, thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.